The purple sky of Zephyria grew darker each day. Dr. Nim pressed her six-fingered hand against the cold window of the medical center and watched another transport ship explode in the distance. The Crimson Death, as her people called it, spread faster than their finest healers could treat it. Another message from the Galactic Council, announced Communication Officer Yuna, her voice hollow. She had lost her entire family last week. The crystalline worlds refuse our request for aid. Captain Bayek turned away from the tactical display, showing their dying fleet. The numbers were terrible. Half their ships were already silent, floating dark in space. The other half would follow soon. What do the Vorthari say exactly? Yuna's shoulders sagged. They call us contaminated and beyond help. They're sealing their borders effective immediately. Dr. Nim felt her heart sink. The Vorthari had been their closest allies for 1,000 years. Their healing crystals could cure almost any disease. If they wouldn't help... What about the Luminari? Asked young scientist Bay, still clinging to hope. Their energy fields can repair damaged cells. Denied, Yuna replied. They say the plague carries dimensional contamination that could infect their pure energy forms. One by one, they called the great powers of the galaxy. The warrior Kethvar spoke of natural selection and the strong surviving. The ancient makers sent only a recording. Your time is ended. Do not contact us again. Even the peaceful gardeners, who had never refused aid to anyone, closed their communication channels. Dr. Nim watched her people die. In the streets below, Zephyrians fell where they stood. The plague attacked their nervous systems first, then their organs. Death came slowly, painfully. Their science, advanced enough to travel between stars, could do nothing against this enemy. Doctor, called Nurse Han from across the room. The isolation ward is full. Where do we put the new patients? The hallways, Nim replied, knowing it was useless. The plague spread through air, through touch, through everything. Isolation didn't work. Nothing worked. Captain Bayek walked to the great window that showed their capital city. Once, millions of Zephyrians had lived there. Now the streets were empty except for the dead. How many worlds? He asked quietly. 17 colony worlds have gone silent, reported Yuna. Our scouts found them. Empty. Not a single survivor. The room fell silent. 17 worlds. Billions of lives. All gone. Dr. Nim thought about her daughter Leah, who had died just 3 days ago. She had been young, brilliant, studying to become a healer like her mother. The plague had taken her, in hours. The consortium sends its final message, Yuna announced. They're officially declaring our territory a dead zone. Any ship attempting to leave our space will be destroyed. So this was it. They were truly alone. Young Bay began to cry. Why won't anyone help us? We've helped others before. When the Kethvar were attacked by the metal plague, we sent them our best healers. When the Luminaries' core worlds were dying, we shared our technology. Because they're afraid, Dr. Nim said softly. Fear makes people cruel. Captain Beck nodded. They'd rather let us all die than risk the plague spreading to their worlds. Through the window, Nim watched another person collapse in the street. No one came to help them. There was no one left. We should send a message, suggested Han. Tell the galaxy what we think of them. What's the point? Beck replied. They've already forgotten us. The medical center's power flickered. They had maybe days before the backup generators failed. After that, even their basic equipment would shut down. Dr. Nim looked at her remaining staff, all volunteers who chose to stay and help rather than run. Not that running would help. The plague was everywhere. We keep working, she decided. Even if we can't find a cure, we keep trying. Our people deserve that much. Yuna nodded and turned back to her station. Another ship approaching our space, probably consortium, making sure we're all dead. But something was strange. This ship's design was different, smaller, cruder. They're broadcasting in galactic standard, Yuna said, confused. But the language, it's not perfect. Captain Bayek frowned. Who still speaks broken standard? The transmission crackled with static. This is Captain Sue of the Earth vessel Samael. We've come to help. The room went silent. Earth? The new world? The species that had only discovered faster than light travel 50 years ago? Dr. Nim's hearts began to beat faster. After all the great civilizations had abandoned them, it was the youngest, weakest species in the galaxy that came to help. Maybe they weren't alone after all. The human ship looked nothing like the sleek vessels of the advanced civilizations. Its hull was patched with metal plates and its engines made strange humming sounds. Dr. Nim had never seen anything so rough. Their docking request is approved, Captain Bayek announced, though his voice carried doubt. But I don't understand, why would they come here? The airlock hissed open and the humans entered. They wore simple protective suits, not the advanced energy shields the other species used. Their leader, a woman with kind eyes, removed her helmet and smiled. I'm Commander Hyun of the Earth Defense Force, she said in careful galactic standard. We brought medical supplies and hope. Dr. Nim stared at the human woman. She was so small compared to a Zephyrian, yet she stood straight and confident. Behind her came a team of humans carrying strange boxes and equipment. You shouldn't be here, Yuna said from her communication station. The plague will kill you too. Commander Hyun's smile never faded. Maybe, but we had to try. Dr. Jin, a young human with bright eyes, immediately began unpacking medical devices. We know our technology is different from yours, he said, but we've been studying the reports. We want to help. The humans worked with desperate energy. Their equipment looked primitive compared to Zephyrian technology, but they used it with skill. Dr. Nim watched as they set up their medical station in the center of the room. Why? Captain Beck asked suddenly. Your leaders must know this is dangerous. Why send you here to die with us? Commander Hyun paused in her work. Because no one should face death alone. Our people have a saying, when others fall, you help them stand. When they can't stand, you stand with them. Young Han approached with a patient, another Zephyrian showing the first signs of the plague. The human medic, Sue, immediately began examining him with her strange instruments. Interesting, Sue murmured. The pathogen attacks the nervous system, but the pattern is unusual. Dr. Nim leaned over her shoulder. You can see the infection. Pattern? Our scanners work differently than yours, Sue explained. They're older technology, but sometimes that means they see things your advanced equipment misses. For the first time in weeks, Dr. Nim felt a spark of hope. Show me what you see. The humans worked without rest. They shared their food with the Zephyrians, even though it wasn't designed for their biology. They stayed awake for days straight, running tests and comparing results. Dr. Hyun, the team's biochemist, worked alongside Dr. Nim in the laboratory. Her methods were simple, almost primitive, but she never gave up. Your people are so young, Dr. Nim said during one of their brief breaks. You've only been in space for 50 years, yet you came when civilizations thousands of years old wouldn't. Hyun smiled sadly. Maybe that's why we came. We remember what it's like to be alone and scared. We remember needing help. Lieutenant Minho, the team's security officer, helped move patients and supplies. He was strong for a human, though still smaller than most Zephyrians. The Zephyrian children who weren't too sick yet loved him because he told funny stories. On Earth, he would say to them, we have creatures called dogs. They're loyal and brave, just like you. 3 days passed. The humans pushed themselves beyond exhaustion. Dr. Jin hadn't slept in 60 hours, but he kept working on the computers, running calculations. There's something wrong with this plague, he announced during an emergency meeting. It's too perfect, too specifically designed to attack Zephyrians. Dr. Nim felt her blood grow cold. What do you mean? Natural diseases adapt and spread to different species, Sue explained. This one doesn't. It only attacks Zephyrians, and it attacks exactly the right systems in exactly the right order. Commander Hyun nodded grimly. This isn't a natural plague. Someone made this. The room fell silent. If the plague was artificial, created specifically to kill Zephyrians, then this was more than a medical crisis. Young Bay spoke up from her research station. I've been looking through our oldest records. There are stories, myths about something called the Devourers, ancient enemies who used biological weapons. Captain Bayek stepped forward. The Devourers. They're just legends. Maybe not, Doctor, Jean said quietly. These patterns, this precision. It's like someone who knew exactly how to kill your species made this disease. Dr. Nim felt fear and hope mix in her hearts. If someone had created this plague, then maybe someone could also stop it. And these humans, these unexpected saviors, might be their only chance. We need to work faster, Commander Hyun declared. If I'm right about what's coming, curing the plague might only be the first step. Dr. Nim watched the humans work through another sleepless night. Their equipment looked so simple compared to Zephyrian technology, yet somehow they found patterns no one else had seen. Dr. Jin rubbed his tired eyes as he stared at the screen showing the plague structure. This is incredible, he whispered. Look at this section here. It's like a key made specifically for Zephyrian biology. Dr. Hyun, the human biochemist, nodded as she compared samples. Natural viruses evolve. They try to spread to many species. This one only attacks Zephyrians. It ignores every other life form we've tested. Young scientist Bay brought ancient records from the Zephyrian archives. Her hands shook as she placed the data crystals on the table. I found more about the Devourers. They weren't just a myth. Captain Bayek leaned over the historical display. Strange symbols appeared showing ships unlike anything in the current galaxy. These records are over 1,000,000 years old. The Devourers were a species that consumed entire worlds, Bay explained. They didn't take resources or territory, they just destroyed. Our ancestors called them the Eaters of Light. Dr. Su looked up from her medical equipment. If they created biological weapons, they would need to test them first. How better to test something than on a species they planned to destroy anyway? The room went quiet. Everyone understood what this meant. Commander Hyun stood up slowly. We need to combine our knowledge. Human medicine with Zephyrian biology. It's the only way. For days they worked together. Dr. Nim taught the humans about Zephyrian cellular structure. The humans showed the Zephyrians their different approach to fighting disease. Their methods were simpler but sometimes more effective. Lieutenant Minho helped carry equipment while Nurse Han taught him Zephyrian words for medical terms. They communicated with hand gestures when words failed. Your immune system is different from ours, Dr. Jin explained to Dr. Nim. We think that's why your regular treatments don't work, but maybe we can use that difference. Dr. Hana, the youngest human scientist, made the breakthrough. She was working late in the laboratory when she noticed something strange. Dr. Nim, she called excitedly. Come see this. Dr. Nim rushed over to see what had the young human so excited. I mixed human antibodies with Zephyrian immune cells, Hana explained. Look what happened. On the screen, they could see the plague virus being attacked and destroyed. The combination worked better than anything they had tried before. But how can we produce enough? Dr. Nim asked. We would need thousands of humans to donate antibodies. Commander, Hyun smiled. Maybe we don't need thousands. Maybe we just need the right approach. They worked through the night, combining human blood samples with Zephyrian technology. Slowly, they created a cure that could be mass-produced. Young Han, who had been dying from the plague just days before, was the first to receive the new treatment. Within hours, his symptoms began to improve. It's working, Dr. Su whispered, tears in her eyes. It's actually working. But their celebration was short-lived. Yuna's console began flashing red alerts. Ships approaching, she announced. Lots of them. They're not using any known registration codes. Captain Bayek studied the tactical display. His face went pale. Those ships, they matched the descriptions from the ancient records. Dr. Bay looked at her research. The Devourers. They're coming back. Commander Hyun stepped forward. How long until they arrive? 6 hours. Maybe 7, Captain Beck replied. The humans looked at each other. Their small ship couldn't fight an entire fleet, but Dr. Jin just smiled. Then we have 6 hours to save. Everyone we can, he said simply. They worked faster than ever before. Humans and Zephyrians moved together like they had been partners for years. The cure was prepared and distributed across the remaining population centers. As the first devourer, ships appeared on the edge of the system. Dr. Nim felt something she hadn't felt in months. Hope. We're not strong enough to fight them, she told Commander Hyun. Maybe not, the human replied. But we're not alone anymore. And sometimes that makes all the difference. Dr. Hana activated the laboratory's emergency systems. The cure is ready. Even if we don't survive this, other Zephyrians will live. We'll survive, said young Dr. Jin. Humans are stubborn like that. Captain Beck looked out at the approaching ships. The Devourers were coming to finish what they had started with their plague. But they would find something they didn't expect. 2 species united, refusing to die quietly. The battle was about to begin, but the Zephyrians were no longer facing it alone. The first Devourer ship emerged from the darkness like a nightmare made real. Captain Bayek stared at his tactical display as more and more vessels appeared. They came in waves, hundreds of them, their black hulls absorbing all light. By the stars, whispered Communications Officer Yuna. There are so many. The human ship, Semal, moved to position itself between the enemy fleet and Zephyria. It looked tiny compared to the Devourer swarm, like a single bird facing a storm. Commander Hyun's voice crackled over the communications. All stations, prepare for battle. We knew this moment would come. Dr. Nim watched from the medical center as the cured Zephyrians began to move. Those who could fight took positions at defense stations. Those who couldn't helped distribute the last doses of the cure. The Devourers are scanning our planet, reported Science Officer Bay. They're checking if anyone survived their plague. Captain Beck activated his weapon systems. They'll be disappointed. The lead Devourer ship was massive, covered with strange growths that pulsed with dark energy. It spoke with a voice like grinding metal. Zephyrians, you should be extinct. How do you still live? Commander Hyun answered for them. Because they're not alone. The Devourer ship paused. Humans, a young species, you will die with them. Maybe, replied Commander Hyun calmly. But we'll take some of you with us. The first attack came without warning. Energy beams shot from Devourer ships, lighting up space with deadly colors. The human ship dodged with surprising speed. Lieutenant Minho launched his fighters. The small human craft looked like insects around the giant enemy vessels, but they struck with precision and courage. Their weapons are old, but powerful, reported Dr. Jin from his station. The good news is they don't seem to expect resistance. Young, Pilot Rico, one of the first Zephyrians cured, climbed into his fighter. The bioship pulsed with new life, its systems enhanced by human technology. For Zephyria, he shouted as he launched. The battle was fierce. Human ships fought with tactics the ancient Devourers had never seen. They were small and fast, striking and running before the enemy could respond. Dr. Su worked in the medical bay, treating wounded fighters who returned from the battle. We can't win this fight with weapons alone, she told Dr. Nim. I know, Nim replied, but we can buy time. The Devourers had expected to find a dead world. Instead, they faced resistance. Their massive ships began to converge on Zephyria like a closing fist. Captain Bayek's flagship, the Bright Star, fired everything it had. The weapons were weak from power shortages, but they still fought. Sir, called Weapons Officer Han, the humans are transmitting something. A wideband signal to the galaxy. Commander Hyun's voice filled the void. This is Commander Hyun of Earth. We are dying here, but we are not dying quietly. We call upon the civilizations that abandoned these people to witness their courage, to see what honor looks like. The message reached the consortium worlds, the crystal cities of the Vorthari, the energy realms of the Luminary. Those who had turned their backs on the Zephyrians now watched the battle unfold. Dr. Hana, working frantically in her laboratory, made a discovery. The Devourer's ships are biological. That's why our weapons barely hurt them. What does that mean? Asked Dr. Nim. It means they can be infected, like the plague they used on you, but in reverse. Working together, humans and Zephyrians created something new, a virus that attacked Devourer bioships. It was dangerous, untested, but it was their only chance. The enemy fleet began its final approach. Their ships blocked out the stars, and their weapons charged with deadly energy. The few remaining defenders prepared for the end. Then something unexpected happened. The cured Zephyrians began to change. Rico's bioship started to grow, its hull shifting and adapting. The human modifications had given it new abilities. What's happening? Rico called out as his ship became something new. Dr. Hyun watched in amazement. The cure didn't just heal you, it evolved you. Other cured Zephyrians experienced the same change. Their bioships grew larger, stronger, their weapons more powerful. They were becoming something the galaxy had never seen. Young Bay's research, station ship transformed into a living arsenal. Dr. Su's medical vessel became a mobile repair unit that could heal other ships. We're not the same anymore, Dr. Nim realized. The combination of human and Zephyrian technology, it's changed us. As the Devourers closed in for the kill, the new hybrid ships rose to meet them. They were few in number but powered by two species, working as one. The real battle was just beginning. The hybrid ships rose to meet the Devourer swarm like flowers of light in the darkness. Rico's transformed vessel moved with impossible grace, its living hull rippling as it flew. The virus weapon they had created spread from ship to ship, carried by the bioships themselves. It's working, Dr. Hana shouted over the sound of battle. The virus is spreading through their fleet. The Devourer's massive ships began to writhe in pain. Black liquid leaked from their hulls as the artificial virus attacked their biological systems. Their formations broke as ships struggled to stay alive. Commander Hyun watched from the Samiel as the tide of battle turned. We might actually survive this, she whispered, but the galaxy was watching too. On Vorthari crystal worlds, on luminary energy planes, on 100 consortium planets, beings who had abandoned the Zephyrians now saw the battle unfold. Admiral Zex of the Vorthari Navy contacted his high command. The humans and Zephyrians are winning. Against the Devourers. How is this possible? On the energy plane of Luminar, the Council of Light debated. We should have helped, admitted one ancient being. Now we watch from the sidelines like cowards. The Kethvar warrior clans gathered their fleets in shame. General Tor struck his fist against his command chair. While we spoke of strength and survival, these small species showed what true strength means. More Devourer ships fell. The virus spread faster than their ships could escape. Some tried to flee into dark space, but the hybrid ships pursued them with relentless determination. Young Han, his fighter now transformed into something half biological, half machine, led a squadron of cured Zephyrians. They moved together like a single organism, thinking as one. The infection patterns are beautiful, Dr. Jin observed. Human creativity combined with Zephyrian biology. They're not just fighting the Devourers, they're becoming something new. Dr. Nim felt her heart soar as she watched her people fight, alongside the humans. They were no longer the same species that had faced extinction. They were something better. The lead Devourer ship, the largest and oldest, began to broadcast a desperate message. Impossible. The diseased ones should be dead. The young species should be weak. Commander Hyun's voice answered firm and strong. We learned something you never understood. Together, we are stronger than the sum of our parts. Then the impossible happened. A flash of light appeared at the edge of the system. Ships emerged from hyperspace, Vorthari crystal vessels, luminary energy constructs, Kethvar battleships, and a dozen other fleets. Captain Beck couldn't believe his displays. The consortium fleet. They've come, the Vorthari admiral spoke first. We were wrong. We abandoned you when you needed us most. Now we stand with you. The luminary added their own voice. The humans showed us what honor means. We will not fail again. The HFY general roared his battle cry. These devourers think they can destroy the innocent. They face all of us now. The combined fleet was magnificent. Species that had refused to help now fought together. The devourers, already weakened by the virus, faced overwhelming odds. Dr. Sue treated wounded fighters from a dozen different species. I never thought I'd live to see this, she told Dr. Nim. The whole galaxy united. The battle was swift and final. The devourer fleet, caught between the virus and the combined galaxy's forces, crumbled completely. Their ancient ships, masters of biological warfare, had no defense against this new unity. As devourer vessels fell silent and dark, the fleet stood amid the debris. The greatest threat the galaxy had ever known was ended, not by any single powerful species, but by cooperation. Admiral Chan of the Vorthari approached the human ship. We owe you a debt that can never be repaid. You saved not just the Zephyrians, but all of us. Dr. Hyun smiled through tears of exhaustion. We didn't do it for debt. We did it because it was right. The Galactic Consortium held an emergency session. The species that had abandoned the Zephyrians now voted to make them full members, with humans joining as well. The plague survivors and their human allies would have full rights and protection. Months later, Dr. Nim stood in a new laboratory. Humans and Zephyrians worked side by side, their combined knowledge pushing the boundaries of science. The hybrid technology born from their alliance was healing worlds damaged by war. Rico, now captain of his own hybrid ship, visited Earth to bring young humans to train with Zephyrian pilots. The two species had become true partners. Commander Hyun, now Admiral Hyun, spoke at the memorial service for those lost in the plague and the battle. We learned that the greatest strength is not in our weapons or our ships. It's in our choice to stand with others when they fall. Young Dr. Jin, working with Dr. Hana on new biotechnologies, looked up at the stars. Somewhere out there, other species might need help. And now they knew the galaxy would answer that call. The Devourers had tried to divide and destroy. Instead, they had united the galaxy in a way nothing else could. From the ashes of abandonment and plague, a new era of cooperation had begun. And it all started with a simple choice. When others fall, you help them stand.